foundling! It is a pity to see you like this. You are... Stop the foundling! Quickly! He's escaping!
Have to keep moving.
By the first ones! You're alive!
I'm glad to see another living soul. The miller went off to warn Clearfell about a strange sickness plaguing our men. I was fixing to go after him, till that bloody thing got to me first. Now, all those who drowned in the flooding, suddenly they ain't so dead no more. I would appreciate it if you could... Reach Clearfell. Find the miller.
Clearfell could be in danger. I'd best hurry.
We need your...
Turn off! Brannock? Is that you? I'm sorry, Brannock. It was me, or you.
Well done. Please come inside.
Father!
Where have you been, lad? I've been worried sick. I looked for you everywhere after those soldiers came for you, but when I found neither hide nor hair, I had to believe, well... It's a good thing you managed to escape the Count's justice. Let's just say that. It seems the first ones have graced us with fortune. We could sorely use your strength in these dark times. There's a beast of particular dark power stalking us out in the Felling. It moves unseen under the dirt and attacks without warning. We can't leave the walls to find food, and I've been unable to corner and slay the beast myself. Now, if you could channel your violence against this devourer, as Finn calls it, we'd be indebted to you.
The Count must die for what he has done to us.
Oi, it's you! You're Renly's foundling, but, Renly's son, aren't you? Good to finally meet you. I am Finn, and I shall be your humble provider of useful and diverse objects. That are most definitely not scrounged or stolen. If I don't got it, I can get it. You just let me know. Bye then.
He lives up to his reputation.
Welcome to the Camp of the Lost. I am Una. I know you and I never met in the village, but Renly has been sick with worry about you since he got here. This is the first good news he's had, and for that, I am thankful to see you. You must have heard the rumors in the village. All this began the night Count Gino took his most loyal men into the Grellwood. That's when his growing madness began. Something happened out there. Please, I beg of you, travel to the forest and begin your search. There must be some clue as to what took place. I fear that our land's sickness will only deepen unless something is done.
We will survive this. I swear it.
I have received reports of a number of villagers hiding at the Clearfell logging site. Travel there and convey my order to return. Anyone refusing my authority should be considered a traitor and a criminal. Deal with them as you see fit, but bring their bodies back to the manor.
this lair? How deep does it go? Corruption has twisted it into a nightmare. Horrific task, but to protect Clearfell, I'll do it again.
Oh, finally! Took down the Devourer, did you? Oh, that's incredible! This is the first real success we've had against the darkness. We can breathe a bit easier now, perhaps even go out and gather food. Now, this won't cover our debt to you, not nearly, but take it as thanks. Go well.
The Grellwood has changed, not for the better. It's been many years. Does the witch still live here? Weak creature! It seems no one is safe from corruption. I remember this place.
What happened here? This shade, is it still alive? Perhaps it can give us the answers we seek. Only the Count's sword has the power to bind souls to the tree like this. We must free it somehow. To release that being from the Tree of Souls, we'll need more than simply cutting his rope. The ancient runes that imbue the Count's blade created the binding, and only ancient runes can break it. There is a battlefield not far from here that runs red with rust, where the weapons and armor of countless Ezamites still remain. We call it the Red Veil. You should search the area. There may still be power in some of those centuries-old relics. Renly will know how to forge them, bring the runes to him, and then, perhaps, we shall find some answers. I'll wait here. The old magics will protect me.
By decree of the Count of Ogham, those condemned to hang from these branches are to be left until their hearts no longer beat, their lungs no longer fill with air, and their flesh is no longer warm. In death, you are not forgiven. Your souls will remain trapped here by this ancient moor of maligned wood, and the grove will be forever denied you. Rot here in the Grellwood for all time, and good riddance.
This can't go on! These were not my ancestors, but I still respect their valor. Ominous, but it might hold the runes I seek. They still defend their land, even after all this time. What? Who is that? The last one.
We stand united.
Dodge this! Crush them!
Go with honor. There is nothing left to defend.
Spirits in the trees be damned. You actually entered the Red Veil and survived. Every Ogham kid knows, if you step 1 foot in there, you'll be skewered and eaten. Well, those kids that are lucky enough to have a mother, that is. Oh, shite. No offense. I was talking about me, not you. Although I guess we do have that in common. How rusted is the gear? Any of it salvageable? Worth anything? Just thinking out loud.
Hello. Renly brings the strength, Finn brings the wit, and I'm doing my best to keep spirits raised with my songs. Hope is the only thing we have now, but it's in short supply. He doubts himself, but I know he will find a way to protect us. He is a good man, and I am thankful for his presence. In many ways, he reminds me of my father. I survive, but all that I was is gone. Count Gino has only been growing more and more cruel with his justice. He arrested my father for bringing in the harvest 1 day late, and the rest of my family scattered and fled as the soldiers came for them. I was away when it happened, but my neighbors warned me on my way home, and I fled. Clearfell is as far as I could go before the dangers of the forest closed in. There is scant hope in my heart for my father, but I must believe my mother and my 2 younger brothers escaped, even though my heart tells me that they are just songs now. I keep longing for a ray of light to cut through the darkness of these bleak days. The Devourer is just another victim of the sickness infecting our precious land. Many of Ogham's beasts are fearsome and dangerous, but not like this. The infection in the soil, water, and air is changing them. All of them. It is sad to see such a great creature slain, but it was no longer what it once was. I suppose it had to be done. The first ones ran wild through the Grellwood of old, hunting and brawling as they saw fit. It is said that the spirits of the forest would watch them and be entertained. Over time, the forest became abundant with the joys of those spirits and their old magics. It was a haven for the unity of life and spirit. That place of beauty has now become shadowed and deadly. The curse upon this land has made the known paths of the Grellwood twisted and treacherous, so much so that we can no longer even reach our home. He wears an eloquent mask of words. I doubt anyone here has seen what lies beneath. For many summers, I watched him cut smooth circles around the village square, moving from partner to partner, as if he was attending one of those famed eternal masquerades. Always masked, always pretending to be something he wasn't. never serious. It's a shame, because when a masquerade ends, everybody that is real goes home. But he'll still be dancing, masked and alone. The great sword Agnar is currently in Count Gianor's possession. But the mighty rune blade was not always his to wield. It is an ancient weapon of the old magics, inspired by the great wolf himself. Legend says it was forged and runed for the original clan leader so he might lead his people to a new, safer land. This brought them to Farrell, where they founded Ogham. Ever since, Agnar was passed down to the leader of the strongest clan. When the position of Count was established in Ogham, the sword was bound to the roll. But now, Gianor sullies his remarkable history with his misdeeds. I hope I will live to see the day when someone worthy takes up the sword once more.
Hey, your old man's all right by me. Never said an unkind word. Treasure what you've got. You hear me?
You killed the Devourer in its own lair. That's mighty brave of you, hero. Now at least we won't starve to death. One less way to die, I guess.
As an esteemed member of no clan at all, I had the distinct honour of wandering through the lovely sights of all 4 seasons. Summer heat, winter chill, take your pick. For company, it was my pleasure to sup with the outlaws, the deranged, and the unwanted. It's simply unthinkable that I never met a nice girl to settle down with, isn't it? It won't be like this forever. I'm gonna build my palace someday. Been planning it since I was small and found myself on my own. Imagine with me, if you will, a vast span of wood above you in the trees. That's the foundation you're looking at. You ascend a tremendous spiral staircase around an ancient trunk and find yourself approaching a treehouse worthy of the first ones. Dozens of lavish bedrooms, two stocked kitchens, tall spires, a tower that looks out over all of Ogham, and half of Farrell for good measure. Isn't it glorious? That's where I really live. This cold, damp, hungry world is just an illusion.
I was the first to notice the Mad Count's fist closing around this land. He kept rounding up people like me for reasons that smelt like wolf droppings. I'm a bit of a slippery fish though, so I dodged his nets. Then his mercenaries started coming for people I actually liked, and that's when I knew something was up. The village folk kept defending his actions. I don't know why they couldn't see it. Maybe they didn't want to see it.
Watch yourself out there.
Here are your spikes, but be cautious. They stayed warm after forging, no matter how many times I quenched them. I would ask what you need these for, but I'm putting my trust in you. This part of Farrell has been a fair home for many an Ezomite generation. The clans didn't always get along, but we had to settle our feuds when the Eternals laid their savage boot upon us. We weren't able to take part in the Bloody Flowers Rebellion, but we had our share of conflict with them here. Their ruins run over the top of ours, fighting a silent war in stone. I know I'm not your father, lad, but I've tried hard to raise you the best I can. I don't know how the Karui might have taught you, but I imagine you'll still be the man you are today. You've always had a strong will. That's what truly makes you an Ezomite, no matter where you were born. That place used to be a kind and warm wood. I even took you to play there when you were younger, if you remember. Oh, it's a dark well now, with no way out for most. If you go there, be on your guard and remember the skills I taught you. It's a shame what happened to old Brannock. He was a kind man in life, but I can't say I'll miss the creature he became. Oh, he tried to batter his way in for 5 full days once he rose again. Well, we thought we were done for. But then you came along, and I'm glad you did. If you find a pint out there, do bring it back.
What happened here? You have them. Stab them into the runewood sights. The Red Veil played host to the final and bloodiest battle of countless conflicts. It was in the heart of that veil that we fought for our freedom against the Eternals. We did win, in a sense, but the cost was far greater than anyone expected. Many generations of able-bodied men and women gave their lives to push off the boot of oppression. The tree itself will not be harmed in the same since. What are you waiting for? Centuries on. My mother's mother told me tales of this tree. Our ancestors used it to attract Fae spirits, until it was given a darker purpose under the Eternals. They would leave Ezamites strung up on the tree, alive, to starve, to be pecked at by birds. So this is the source of my shadowed dreams. Not the tree, but the shade upon it. As strange as it sounds, I believe we should help this creature. For the Count to bind it to the tree, it must be involved in all of this somehow. There is something very wrong in Ogham, and it may know something of it. Good. Now the others.
Release that which you hold.
He's unconscious, but he's breathing. Though, this wound... We should take him back to Clearfell. He may be the only one who knows what truly happened out here. The wound. It should be fatal, but somehow he clings to life. I fear it will not be long until his song ends. He will never heal while the Count's binding still holds sway. Only by a Count's hand can this binding be released. I know an old tale, one that speaks of a ring we might be able to recover, buried 3 centuries ago in our ancient graveyard. A Count's signet ring, bearing his rune of authority. But how to reach it in time? The grim tangle. The overgrown sinkholes and gullies that run beneath Ogham can lead you there. The path is dangerous, but go back to the Grellwood, find the entrance. We shall see if the spirits of this land still have the will to see you through. The graves of our people lie beneath the Eternals' tombs. Despite their best efforts to bury our legacy, we remain. Now they are gone, and we live on. This is the cycle of life as we have always known it. Everyone dies, but the clan endures, and the greatest glory an Ezamite can attain is to live on in a song or a poem. That is why we do not fight the wood and stone to reclaim our buried graves. And it is something the Eternals never understood. We don't need the graves. We still have the songs and the stories that matter. They could never take those from us. Goodbye.
So, You found a shadow in the forest and you brought it here. Good. Great. Superb. See ya.
So you're going back to the village, lad? Now, you've probably been thinking this already, but we could do some proper smithing if you manage to bring back our tools. They should still be near the forge, right where I left them. Bring them here, and we'll set up a bench. Some honest work might do wonders to lift our spirits. If you find a pint out there, do bring it back.
If the Fae spirits are still watching, I believe they will help us. Please, wait a moment. The old magics still thrive. The way is open. Please, hurry. Yes? My mother and I would come here to gather mushrooms when I was young. Ervig the Druid, one of the Grellwood's resident mystics, would meet us and allow us entry. He was well versed in the tongue of the old magics. But now, well, times certainly have changed. Please, don't eat any of the mushrooms. We need you alive. It fills my heart to see the spirits of the forest answer my call like that. It just goes to show there are still energies in this world that mean to aid us. Meet me in Clearfell when you have the ring.
My family has been abducted! That bastard tyrant Praetor Draven! He's taken my family hostage! They're being held somewhere beyond these gates. I never thought he would stoop this low. I sent for reinforcements, but it's been so long. I must get through the gate. The keys! Where are the blasted keys? I believe those cowards took them.
I will gladly honor this request.
My dearest daughter, beloved for all time, rest well.
My beloved son, your death shall be avenged, even if it takes 1,000 years.
Our victory is never complete, so long as the Ezamites resist us. Let this graveyard erase their stain on the land.
Let this be a testament for all time. The Eternal Empire stakes claim over this land, both in life and death.
This place has not been abandoned.
A Karui soul for my collection. You shall die. Slowly. Rent your soul! The spirit's done. You cannot stop me.
Your name has long been maligned in Ogim Draven. This was my pleasure.
You felled the Praetor! By the first ones! I can't quite believe it! But there's no time to waste. We must get through the gate. Find the Praetor's witch. Find the other key. Arkham. Oh yes, Arkham. This is the oldest home of the Ezelmites as we know ourselves. Past generations departed from here to settle Ezomir and the Isles of Skov. We did not always call this part of Farrell our homeland. And now the Eternals have come with their armies and laid claim to this place. It'll be a cold day in the Vastiri Desert before we submit. Before Farrell. Ah, the songs aren't clear after so much time. A great many generations ago, we were driven here from elsewhere. There was simply too much corruption, too much darkness. It was a time of chaos and terror, and much was lost. Our clan swore that this was the last time we would ever be cast out of our homes. Rise up, Ezelmites! We shall drive off these eternal bastards! The Praetor! Oh, the Praetor! That monster! He is the worst man the Eternals could have chosen as a custodian for this territory. Had he come to us in peace, the clans might have been willing to talk. But that damn swine regards us as nothing but dogs. He invaded the village in the night without warning, without honor. He seized my family to try to force us to surrender. The Eternal Empire cares for nothing but power. Mark my words, we will not be ground under the heel of tyranny. The consort? Oh, Asinia. Curse the foul witch. She mired our lands with hexes upon our graves, so the dead may not die. She was but a servant girl to the Praetor's family. It was said she poisoned his first wife, aspired to replace her. She succeeded, and Draven, he was not dismayed by the darkness in her, he embraced it. And together, they conspired in their vile ambitions. Uprising? The uprising, of course. The clans are uniting to fight for their freedom. We are making our stand in the Vale. Make haste!
Oh, Una? Yeah, I know her. I was, elsewhere when the Count tried to arrest her family, but I certainly heard about it. It's just a coincidence we both ended up here. Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't follow her or anything like that. It would be unheard of for a clan girl and an outcast to... Well, whatever you're thinking, don't. That's where I stand on it. You've got to be grounded in the real world. Don't get hung up on things that can never be. It'll just break your heart. Farewell. Here.
I understand you did what you had to. Please, let us not speak of it further.
Your way has no place here, Karui! Right of the fourth moon. Insolence! No escape, foe! Prison of bone. Now,
cruelty was immortalized in song, Assinia. Your end will be too.
Do my eyes again deceive me? You have the keys! You showed those eternal bastards! Use the keys to open the gate! Let's go and free my family! At last, it's open! Praise the first one! What is this? Graves! Isabel! Torquil! Callum! The family of Count Lachlan of Ogham! My family! This doesn't make any sense! They're dead! Those bastard Eternals! I must make them pay! I must make them suffer!
Crush them! Hunt with the first ones, old man. You've earned it.
You found the ring. This will most certainly break the Count's binding. Give me a moment.
How long has it been? I was hunted. The Count, he stole something that is beyond dangerous. It will cause sickness, then madness. It can still be contained. We must put the seed back.
This
What a strange being.
Is that the source of Ogham's affliction?
Yes. Please, find it. I am still too weak. This will only grow worse.
So if we are to heal this land, we must find this seed. Beyond our clan graves is the hunting grounds. Cut through those to reach the village. Please, go as quickly as you can and see what you can find. I fear there is not much time.
"20 years ago, in the wake of those tremendous events, mankind was busy with its own survival. No one was looking for me, and no one saw me. I lurked in high places and dark places, seeking to keep the seeds safe from men of ambition. In recent years, however, I found myself continually forced to move from place to place. There was always one more hunter, one more patrol, one more grove being cut down or cave being mined. There was nowhere to hide, and my path inexorably took me here, which was apparently exactly where someone wanted me to be. This was all a trap, laid over the course of years, and at colossal expense. Someone wanted the seed at any cost, which surely bodes ill for their intentions. I'll wait here.
Sorry, I was just...
That hooded fella's a strange one. But if you think he's trustworthy, then you've got my support. Let's hope you're right. Now be careful if you intend on returning to the village, lad. Those thugs Count Girnor are far crueler than our own soldiers. You've seen them. Each accusation's weaker than the last. When they came to my forge asking for free weapons, well, I refused. I'd already been looking for you for quite some time. and you were nowhere to be found. So I assumed the worst and fled for Clearfell. I'm sorry, lad. I'm just glad you're all right. Tread as heavily as you like. The Eternals stomped their graves all over ours when they had a conqueror's foothold here. Now, if those graves have turned up and released their dead, take our vengeance on them. Some even say, when the night is darkest, our ancestors still fight theirs among the tombs, and I don't doubt it. A true Essamite never surrenders their land, not even in death. Stick to the cairns.
Ah, the hero. Those glowing blue eyes make it hard to sleep at night. I'd wear something over my face to block out the glare, but silly me, I left my sleeping veil back at my palace. Later. Now, beast! I have a grand quest for you, hero. The kind that'll get you woven into legend. It's not at all a minor personal matter that you might ignore. How do I explain this? Before this dreary place, you could say I was something of a, wanderer. There's a clanless enclave known as the Freythorn that makes its home high in the trees near the hunting grounds. They helped me out a time or two over the years. A little while back, a group of strangers arrived out of the deep woods. They made strange altars and started whispering to the others about their religion. That was when I decided to move on. See, now I got to thinking, if Count Gianor and his men are mad enough to burn the village, then maybe the clanless are in trouble too. Will you pay them a visit? I used to be mildly fond of a fair few of them.
I don't know how to ask this of you, but I was forced to leave behind something of great importance to me when I fled. My lute. It was carved by my mother when she first taught me to sing. It's in my family home, in the farmlands. If you happen to travel near those ways, it would mean the world to me if you could look for it.
Wow, this is ominous. So, I was right to be worried. They're still making these damned altars, and this one's bigger. Something's wrong, hero. Something's definitely off. I thought I was imagining the whispers in the shadows at night up there. Thought I was just spooked by the cultists, but maybe not. Please, check in on the Enclave. I'm gonna get while the getting's good. Tired of the slaughter yet?
By decree of the Count of Ogham, to the scoundrels and cowards hiding among the trees of the clanless Perch. As the loyal men of Ogham lay down their lives to protect those who support them, you hide. As the women of Ogham sweat and ache, skinning beasts upon which we feed, you hide. As the children of Ogham play at war, preparing to serve the greater needs of the people, you traitors hide. I will offer clemency only once. Return to the manor immediately and serve Ogham, as is your duty, and your punishment will be deferred.
So this is where the clanless live. There are far more of them than I expected. That voice. What sinister shadow lurks here?
I can't believe it. The whole bloody place has gone mad. Cursed cultists. Please. Yes? I can't believe it. Please, hero. Find the other altars and dispose of them. Put an end to this. I'm gonna check around here for any sane survivors.
Greetings. All children have imaginary friends. Most grow out of that phase. A rare few refuse to let go, creating real from unreal through sheer stubbornness. Gods born of man certainly exist, but did the gigantic red tiger named Farul actually run the plains of the primordial world? There is no way to know. Will the world end if she and her savage ilk return? The answer, I imagine, is up to those who would stand and fight on that day. Be glad that today is not that day, as far as I know. Corruption once had a purpose. Let us term it a disorganizer of what would otherwise be ordered. One consequence of this chaos is the warping of pathways, both through the woods and in the mind. The land so afflicted is never the same when trod upon a second time. Men afflicted by corruption know not where or when they are, only that they are in pain, and you appear as a horrible creature to their distorted senses. The Count accosted me and stole a very dangerous object. The seed that I have kept hidden from humanity. Somehow he knew that I possessed it. He cannot possibly know how dangerous it is. His attempts to harness its power will court disaster. You must hurry to the village. At the very least, those who are still sane may be convinced to aid in containing the seed. The boundless horrors of mishandled corruption cannot be conveyed simply through words. I only hope that you can find and contain the seed before it is too late.
Dodge this!
Unwary on our ways. Why do they hate us for wanting to exist?
There was no other way. I've nowhere to keep that.
So the cultists really did have a king lurking out there in the shadows. Shame. I might have followed him myself if he'd simply promised decent meals instead. Thank you, hero. It's not the result I was hoping for, but at least I know the truth. Clearfell's all I have left now. If I was a drinking man, it'd be a sobering thought.
What have we got? A curse has befallen this land. That's what Una feels. That's what I say too. The beasts of Ogham have been friendly to men until a shadow started oozing out of the manor. These rabid and misshapen animals are not to blame. They've been driven mad by something we can't see, only feel in our bones. Last time I felt something like this, I was a much younger man. I've had a few things go missing around the forge when Finn was nearby, but I can't begrudge the lad. His father refused to acknowledge him, so he was left clanless at an early age. Underneath that boastful exterior, there's just, well, I'm sure it's obvious, even to strangers. His mother was a kind and honest woman. Shame he doesn't take after her. Till next time.
Yes?
Oh, that Finn's a bad influence. No daughter of mine will consort with such a type. We should have the village guards give him a good beating just to teach him a lesson.
Though I suppose nursing a grudge is foolish, given they're likely all dead now.
I can put right one thing, at least.
What have they done? The bastards! They've burned it all!
Una's house. Your house. You lot had real places to live. I was always so envious, but I guess... well, you're like me now. Vagabonds, vagrants. Oh, it begs the question. Is this our home now? Does that make us bunkmates? I call the top bunk.
You found my loot. I can't quite believe my eyes. This feels like having a small part of my family back again. I cannot thank you enough. I think I shall begin by composing a song about you. In the meantime, I would be happy to play for you, if you like.
Build.
This shade is a curious one. It is quite odd to have a blue-eyed shadow in the camp watching us, but things truly have been taking a turn for the better since you freed him. Some of the folk here consider his presence a sign of good luck, though I wonder if it is actually you that brings us these better fortunes.
The village has been destroyed, and madness has already reached a boiling point in the minds of the Count's men. You must infiltrate the manor and put a stop to this by any means necessary. The fate that befell Ogham village is only a single raindrop in the storm that is coming. Do whatever it takes.
What have we got? The girl's a shining light in a time of darkness. If it weren't for her music, well, I don't know what I'd do. Every time I listen to her songs, I know I have to try harder to defend this place. Any fear and excuses be damned.
By decree of the Count of Ogham, your whispering and conspiring has not gone unnoticed. I see your disloyalty. I hear your mockery. However, your plots against me all lay dead in their tracks. Every villager must report to the manor immediately for questioning. I alone will crush this revolt. Anyone who resists will not only be considered a criminal, but an avowed traitor.
Destruction! I've nowhere to keep that.
Our tools! Oh, this is wonderful, lad. Haven't felt right without a forge. Now I can set up a proper bench here for you.
Help us! Don't do this. Stop. Just wait. Surely we can...
Your luck has run out, foundling.
Great Wolf take you, bastard!
You! Bastard! Face me!
Rip your damn throat out.
Death is not revenge enough for what you've done.
He killed Eamon. Just killed him. I don't know what to do. Clearfell is safe. We have to get out of here. We can talk there.
None will stop me from enacting vengeance.
By decree of the Count of Ogham, all men must work a third shift and continue excavating until further notice. Any man caught resting will meet the executioner's axe or the gallows noose.
For what it's worth, my name is Latus. I appreciate the rescue, but... Eamon, everything I know, it's all gone. It isn't worth much, but take this. Perhaps it will aid you against that monster. There is only one thing for certain. Count Gianor must die. He ordered the guard to round up everyone in the village, and when we resisted, they burned it to the ground. Enter the manor. Take our vengeance upon him. That place is a madhouse. Every day was spent threading a careful line. Question the Count, and you'd get arrested. Flatter him too much, and he'd grow paranoid and arrest you anyway. The Countess watched all of us with cold eyes. The nobles began to change. Strange proclivities emerged. They brought lone villagers into their rooms in the dead of night, never to be seen again. Eamon and I tried to flee, but they caught us. When she came to us from the Vastiri desert, we nobles were just happy the Count had finally found a wife. If we had known what was to come, we never would have celebrated. From the moment she arrived, she spent her time whispering dreadful little barbs in his ear. He became rather agitated and started doubting himself, doubting his bloodline. He had a scholar repeatedly investigate whether the Eternals had dirtied his ancestry. When he found out that he might have had an unwelcome interloper in his family tree, he became fixated on proving himself. even though we all repeatedly assured him he already had our loyalty. He's been obsessed with gaining power ever since, and I think the Countess promised him a way to achieve it. So, you know of it. I remember the night it all began. The Count and his men returned in the witching hour, carrying something hidden from sight. We didn't know what it was at the time, but we certainly learned soon. It was alive, and he needed to feed it. The changes came slowly. There were whispers of the downtrodden and clanless going missing. Nobody of consequence. The Count's men were simply cleaning up the ne'er-do-wells, those that contributed nothing. But then, the Count started changing the penalties for common crimes. 5 men were arrested after a simple scuffle over payment. A woman was arrested for adultery, like we were somehow living under the tyranny of the Eternals all over again. Charges became commonplace for almost anything. Living in the manor, my husband and I were somewhat protected, but we saw what was happening. All of these criminals were sentenced to hard labor, digging away beneath the manor until their strength was spent. When that happened, he hanged them and threw their bodies to that creature. I don't know what the Count is looking for beneath the manor. Perhaps he hopes for proof that his heritage is actually pure. Perhaps he's just gone well and truly mad. He's torn a massive hole right in the middle of the manor. A living testament to what he's done to our way of life. Take revenge.
It is good to see you. Latis is from a prominent family in her clan, so I didn't know her well. But I did take hope from her actions. If a noblewoman could marry a commoner, then perhaps a commoner would be free to marry whoever she wants as well. It makes me think about the last conversation I ever had with my father. It was an argument. Though it tears at my heart, I choose to believe that deep down, he understood me. It seems shadows haunt us both.
Hello. I always make sure to avoid noblewomen like Latis. Her kind seem to think I'm insincere for reasons neither you nor I could ever comprehend, I'm sure. Still, I certainly heard about her, and I've heard what she said about the manor. I know lies, hero. She isn't one. See ya.
What have you learned?
What have we got? Some men do not have to earn honor. Some are simply born with it by virtue of their status. Geonor is doubly a monster for giving away what others have sought their entire lives. He was born into the role rather than being chosen by the clan, and now he has squandered that by serving himself above all others. I used to believe in him, but now I cannot even stand the thought of him. If you find a pint out there, do bring it back.
Soldiers of Ogham, the outside threat grows ever stronger. Whispers of betrayal echo within my very halls. We can no longer tolerate any risk. Use lethal force against those you suspect of foul play. Speak carefully with your men. Ensure they are who they claim. Hang any suspects. Seek out resistance within the village and raze their homes to the ground. We must send a clear message. Leave no stone unturned.
Geonor must be made to answer for his crimes.
Never had any love for old Count Geonor. Give him a stab or two for me.
Yes, more! Don't stop! The beast hungers!
Horrific! They're insane! Destruction!
You shall have everything I promised.
No noose this time. I'll remove your head myself! You are nothing but a tyrant!
That will not! Oriana! Open the cage! Release the beast! Give me what you promised!
I think not. I so much. Since you are too weak to do the job, I'll find someone who can. Goodbye, husband.
You manipulative whore! How dare you abandon me after all I've given you! The pack suffered but endured, and hound now in tune. No tales were told, none new, none old, and their endless hunger grew ever stronger. I will take out your heart and savor each bite. Desolation.
Allow me to clear your mind, if only for a moment.
The madness. It consumed my being. Oriana used it against me.
Where has she taken the beast?
I found messages from the desert.
From the Vastiri?
Yes. Find her. Kill her. But first, please, stop the madness.
As you wish. We must make haste. Let us return to Clearfell to make our preparations.
Count Geonor is dead. I never thought there'd come a day when such a statement brought relief. We can finally start rebuilding our poor, damaged Ogham. It's going to be a long and difficult struggle, but it's not nearly the first time we Ezamites have had to rise from the ashes. The Count's name will not be remembered in our songs. Good riddance. The thought of our village on fire. Oh, my heart feels heavy. We'll get back there someday. Reclaim our lands, rebuild, mark my words. Part of me is angry I wasn't there to defend the place, but I know I was needed by these good folks far more. I can't imagine what would have happened if they'd been out here, defenseless. Till next time.
You've done well. You have earned a prominent role in our song's story, and I shall sing it proudly. I know that Renly will dearly miss having you around, but he is also immensely proud of you. The darkness that crept upon our lands has been forced to flee, and I have a feeling you will pursue it to the end of the world. May the First Ones bless you. This is home now. Our songs tell of times of renewal, when bloodshed, strife, and courage forge stronger bonds. That is how we will regard this era of Ogham, and how we will remember you in our songs.
We must pursue Oriana. The seed of corruption has begun to grow, but there is still a chance that we can end this before it is too late. The fledgling beast is leaving corruption in its wake, so we have a trail to follow. When you are ready to part from this place, we can leave immediately. The trail of corruption leads east, so east we shall go. It seems fate conspires to return me to the plains of Vastiri.
The Countess has escaped with the beast. Every attempt to control it has ended in cataclysm. We must pursue her to the plains of Vastiri. We should find the Marikath caravan. Only they can lead us through that harsh and unforgiving land.
Well, sir, we have arrived.
This outpost seems to be part of a trade route, so we should be able to find a Marikath caravan. They are an honorable people, and I have no doubt they will assist us. The Marikath have a cultural history deeper than most know. Theirs is a strict tradition, bordering on brutal, but it is that adherence to shared beliefs that has kept them strong when entire empires have come and gone around them.
The weary traveler grows close to the end of the path. The bread bowl of the world, the verdant land of 7 waters, awaits! Be sure to have your toll ready at the gates. Cloth, gems, metalwares, and coin are all accepted.
A culture of warriors. Only the toughest survive here.
You are seeking passage on our caravan? We cannot travel anywhere at the moment. Hyenic raiders are harassing the trade route ahead. For the time being, we are stuck here.
I will have to show them what I can do.
Crush them!
I should return to the caravan.
You defeated the raiders? Fate sends us a fortuitous stranger. Welcome to the Adura Agara. You may travel with us in exchange for your service as a Jingak, and you will have nearly the respect of one of our own for as long as you stay.
They're nomads, much like my ancestors.
The beast is on the move, twisting the desert as it goes, waking ancient dead and unknown horrors alike. The Countess brought it here as part of some nefarious plan. I assume she has allies here. We must track them down and convince them to give up this madness. Those creatures are too coherent and intelligent to be manifestations of corruption. I suspect that they are the descendants of divine tampering. There was a being I once knew in the ancient days, a trickster, who would have appreciated someone to laugh at his ill-conceived humor. What more perfect audience for a sickening jester than a pack of gibbering hyenas? Do whatever it takes.
Who goes there? By the sound of your voice, you cannot be Maraketh. You may trade with me, for trade is the lifeblood of survival in the desert, but expect no kindness. Zarka holds all the wisdom and knowledge of the Adura, and the stories of many other Akaras as well. Our traditions help us survive as these lands turn to dust over generations, and in many ways, that lush beauty still exists for us through her words. Especially now the gods have returned to Rayclast. We know that our beliefs have power. Perhaps we can bring back those verdant forests and gleaming rivers, if only we have enough faith in a leader strong enough to make it real. Does the scorpion sting carry less poison at night? In the hopes of taking on fighting duty again, I am still practicing the art of the sword. Red-eyed Nasima, she of the second sight, proved that there is more to combat than mere vision. However, there is still honor in serving the role of tradesmith and weapon master. I served as a Dekara for as long as I was able, and I intend to fulfill this duty with just as much dedication.
She was a fierce warrior before she was blinded in battle. Focused, determined. Losing her sight has not changed that. I have no doubt that she will become skilled enough at blind fighting to rejoin the ranks someday. Indeed, blind Dekara were once instrumental in decimating an Eternal Legion during a sandstorm ambush. So it is not without precedent. This is the tale as it was told to me by our Akara's Tale Woman before me, and is told to her by the Tale Woman before her. These words have remained unchanged since the beginning. Many thousands of years ago, we were a simple people, hunters, roamers. We moved valley to valley in search of meat and berries. There was none of the discipline we know today, but that was about to change. These fair plains became barren and lightless. A time those generations called the winter of the world. 1,000 years of ice brought hardship and suffering, but that was only the beginning. To the south, the foreign tyrant An fell, and horrible creatures flooded forth under this darkness, seemingly born of bone and blood and foul magic. Survival meant banding together and creating the strict traditions that eventually became what we know today. To fight was to live. Disorder meant death. In the darkest depths of that era, when hope was but a memory, the twin sister Sekimas, Solarai and Landara, arose to unite our scattered peoples for the first time. They wielded the essence of gold and silver, gleaming with such ferocity that the grey skies had no choice but to give way. The creatures retreated under the sands, never to be seen again, and our fair plains blazed with emerald forests and sapphire rivers. This brought about the most glorious age of our people, a time of conquest, wealth, great heroes, and gods that lasted for another 1,000 years. But then, one fell winter, the gods vanished. Our beloved Garukan was the last to succumb, holding on for 2 moons against a powerful innovation. She gave what final orders she could, mandated our traditions be upheld, and then went silent. The Maraketh were not disturbed. We did not lose hope. We knew who we were, and those values had not left us with the departure of the gods. When the sky burned, when the Vaal fell, when the Eternals came and sought to be our masters, and then fell as well, we endured. We have protected these fair plains for 304 generations, and we will continue to do so for another 304. That is our duty and our birthright. Nasima, yes, Nasima. A great warrior, though with a complicated legacy. Born with eyes the color of blood, she was left to die among the dunes for being blind. But the Ferryden found her and raised her. A Balbalik, one might think, but no. She became an impressive warrior in her own right. And when called upon to raid her people, she recognized her mother's voice and turned and slaughtered her Ferryden captors. A true role model from the ancient days and a wonderful sleep tale for the children. I have a very long official title, but you may simply address me as Zaka. The young ones will harp on and on about our strict traditions, but I'm old enough to get away with it. So I do. My role is that of a keeper of tales. I was chosen by my predecessor, rather than being allowed to become a Dekara or perform other duties. I'm not permitted near combat, for the stories I keep are one of our most valuable resources. We understand the plains of Vastiri through the lens of these words handed down to us over the centuries. We see what used to lie where sand dwells now, and hear the bold proclamations and lamentations of yesteryear. That is my role, to be the worldly eyes and ears of the Adura. I will tell your tale.
I am Asala, the Sekima of the Ardura. I care not where you came from, nor what caste you might have been there. All that matters is that you have shown yourself capable in battle, Jingak. Remain a friend to the Ardura, and you shall have nothing but respect from us. So, the beast has entered the world once more. We were following a trail of corruption before we were waylaid, and now we shall resume the hunt. We Marrakech are honored bound to seek and contain corruption wherever it may be found. It seems the sacred duty falls on us once more. The trail connects to 2 locations, but we don't know where the beast currently resides. I am willing to begin wherever you and your shade thinks is wisest. Corruption has returned to the Vastiri. Before this season, the Hyanic warriors you fought would never have dared raid a caravan. The dead have begun to rise again, and other creatures of the desert have started changing. By Zarka's accounts, the land is returning to the way it was before. These are ill times. After the beast of Highgate was slain, all other Akaras vowed to pursue and eradicate corruption should it ever return. Never again will a sole Akara suffer the weight of history. This Oriana would find no allies among our Akaras. We are no strangers to the eternal war against corruption. If she has allies in this region, they cannot be of the Marrakech. Foreigners often misunderstand the concept of the Sekima. I am no dictator, and do not make some pathetic claim of divine right. Emperors are for nations filled with the weak-minded and soft, as history has proven every time an empire falls and we endure. I am Sekima, because others have put their faith in me as the strongest and most capable among us. I lead because there is no better replacement. It is a role I deserve, by definition.
Why have we stopped?
The Halani gates are closed for the first time in 1,000 years. This can only be related to the beast. We should investigate the Feridan's camp in the halls of Modon and demand answers. Move swiftly.
Slaves. This goes against everything the Ezamites stand for. What could they need so much metal for? You could outfit an army with a mine of this scale.
How can I advise you? Move swiftly. Yes, I have seen the slaves pulling the carts. I am uncomfortable with the practice, but from what I understand, it allows those captured in battle to serve rather than simply being executed. There are not enough resources to keep prisoners who do not work. In this harsh land, it is perhaps the lesser of 2 evils. That is, what I tell myself, at least. Asala has agreed to aid us, exactly as I expected. The beast represents an existential threat to all the peoples of Rayclast, but even beyond that, she seems to be quite driven. She reminds me of a rambunctious young woman I once knew in Keth, who eventually rose to power, attained divinity, and led her people to greatness. Do whatever it takes.
Need something? I remember her face from before the battle where I lost my sight. She is quite beautiful, and she has strength and cunning to match. I can think of no better leader for us. We, Adora, have put all our faith in Asala, and though we do not number enough to spark divinity in her, we still thrived under her leadership.
Our people have lived in the shadows of the dunes for too long. Countless generations have been forgotten, will be forgotten. We are not Faradin. We are Marraketh. And if we work together, if we unite, then they will be forced to acknowledge us. We must show them that casting us off is a mistake. We must show them our strength. Perhaps we can one day rebuild Keth itself. For all those who live in the plains of Vastiri.
What is the difference? Face of Faradun, mind of a Akarui? You'll be breath! I am the sun!
I'm not ready!
I am the sun! Oh!
Quickly, break the lock. Please, get me out of here! Winds praise you. 1,000 praises, my friend. I thought I would die here. Please, take me back to your caravan, and I will tell you anything you want to know.
Maybe she knows what's going on.
What have you learned? They call themselves the Faradun in this era, but they have died out and been reborn many times. They are not an independent culture. They are the Marraketh's dark secret, the inevitable consequence of life's haphazard nature. A society cannot simply purge itself of the weak, the ill, or the disadvantaged. Those unwanted newborns abandoned among the dunes. They rarely die, no matter how much the Marraketh wish to make them simply disappear. No, they live. The Faradun are the shadow of the Marraketh, always just out of sight, always watching. They rescue those children and raise them up on the outside, looking in. An unspoken relief for the father and mother that must give up their child. But a gathering storm fated to one day return home with a fury. It takes courage to go against one's people. I once faced a similar decision. There were men and women like me who believed themselves to be exceptional. And they were correct. Terribly, horribly correct. I cursed myself to a permanent exile from my own peers by betraying them. I was unlike mortals, but hated by immortals. I was alone. I would do it all again, and I still might. Whatever it takes.
Who goes there? This defector, Risu, will never be accepted by the Adura. You may trust her, and she may provide information about the enemy's intentions, but remember, she is a traitor to her people. We deal with our own traitors using excessive means. She is not one of us, so we do not consider it our duty to punish her, but neither will we protect her when the time comes. Publicly, I will decry them as loudly as anyone else. Privately, I understand. I do not condone their actions, but I have suffered some small portion of what they must feel their entire lives. To be honest, I expected them to turn on us eventually.
This Balbalak will live or die based on her usefulness in pursuit of the beast. Ask her what questions you will, then we Ardura will decide her fate. If her information proves to be truthful, then she will live. If she is a deceiver sent to misdirect us, she will be left to die in the open desert once again. You have your orders.
I know what Jaman-Ra intends. Atop the burial spires of Deshar lie the Marraketh's most honored dead. The king has become driven by madness to seek any trace of ancient flesh from those of renown or power in life.
He intends to feed their bodies to the horrific creature he keeps in a cage behind his throne. They call it the Beast. I have seen it, and the sight haunts my nightmares. The Halani gates are closed. Then Jaman-Ra must have succeeded in capturing them. He planned to close the gates to prevent the Marraketh from interrupting his harvest. A siege from the front would be impossible now. But there is another way. An ancient passage lost to time. It was used by the traitor Balbala. I can show you where it is, if you will use it to stop Jaman-Ra before it is too late. The sight of that thing chilled my soul. Those of us who objected to its presence were forced to work, mining and finishing the dreadnought. By the time we were done, madness was already rife, and we were sealed in the mine to die for supposedly betraying our people. This Oriana, the one you called a countess, Jaman-Ra has declared her our queen. She first came to us from the south and seemed sympathetic to our cause. She promised us power, the power to take back our lives. She left for Azomite lands, vowing to return with something that would resurrect our greatest hero, Jaman-Ra. With that hope dangled before us, the Faridun united for the first time since his death. We prepared, as she asked. We took the quarry. We began working on the dreadnought. I am ashamed to admit that I was a devout believer in the cause. Until the day she kept her promise. She did return. She did bring the power to resurrect Jaman-Ra. She brought the Beast. I must pursue what I feel to be right. Asala might yet decide to have me put to death, or abandon me to the doom of the desert. I know these risks, but I had to try anyway. If you had seen the darkness rising in the hearts of my brothers and sisters, you would understand. I am not betraying them. I'm trying to save them from themselves. The Marraketh have no idea how great we number. We are larger than anyone Akara by far, and my brothers and sisters hold a great bitterness, even before corruption came among us. Everything we do, from our garb to our food, is made opposite to the Marraketh out of spite. I still feel some of that anger when I see them here, standing proud and colorful. Asala promises them a return to their glory days. But do they not have such glory now? I cannot say I view the Marraketh favorably, but there is no other power to which I can turn. Jaman-Ra is going mad, and I know that the Marraketh will unite their scattered Akaras to confront him if the need is great enough. I believe that it is. What is that being? Does it travel with you? I would tell you not to trust a mysterious stranger in black, but that would make my own situation rather difficult. This corruption that plagues the land, I cannot bring myself to fully believe it's the reason for my people's sickening turn. I know that when the Beast first came to us, when Jaman-Ra was raised from death, he quickly became covetous and prone to fits of rage. Soon that fervor gleamed in the eyes of those around him. You say it's his corruption, but I have not seen anything in my brothers and sisters that was not already there. Corruption may exist, yes, but it does not fully control. It only excuses. The Faridun are warring against the Marraketh because they desire to do so. They have always wanted this conflict. They want to make those who abandoned us suffer. You need not trust me. You will see the truth of my information soon enough. I ask nothing of you, only that you do what you know is right. I am of the Faridun. We are the shadows of the Marraketh, the unwanted and the forgotten. Some time ago, a foreign woman came to us and offered us the power to take back what was ours. We took her deal. We had no idea what it would cost us. When she finally brought us the Beast, it was not the glorious power we'd been promised. It was horrifying. Those of us who did not want to make war, those of us who are afraid of the Beast, Jaman-Ra sealed us in the mine when his dreadnought was complete. This madness must end. Some may call me a traitor, but I do not seek the destruction of my brethren. I seek their salvation. Selah.
So, the outcasts have raised their new king from the grave, and he seeks to violate Deshar, to feed our honored dead to the beast. Such a transgression. Those vile dogs! Our city of the dead lies beyond the Halani gates. We should move to crush the Ferrodon immediately. Let us see if this defector's information is truthful. Infiltrate this supposed passage, find your way to the top of the gates without being detected, and then call for aid. I shall answer. Fight to the last.
What? Jaman-Ra? That's a tale I rarely tell. Every few generations, the Ferrodons stir up trouble. Jaman-Ra was their most successful attempt at causing problems. A very long time ago, he spread dangerous ideas among the outcasts and spoke to the Maraketh as if they were equals. His offenses were so great, the Sekhmers joined together to approach and rebuke him. The tale says that he was so in awe of the glory of our leaders, he ended his own life and chose to fall forgotten in the sands. It is a strange conclusion to his tale, I must admit. But this is what is told. If he has been somehow reanimated through corruption, he will have only one goal: harming us.
Stay inside. If you are traveling through Traitor's Passage, there is something I wish to ask of you. The traitor, Balbala. According to the tales, she is still sealed there, somewhere along the tunnel, as an undying djinn. She served her sentence long ago, but knowledge of the location was lost. It is long past time to release her. I will tell you her story if you wish, but I doubt it will mean much to a Jingak. Long ago, when Keth was the shining jewel of the Vastiri, and our trade routes were the envy of the known world, a weak-willed Sekhmer named Balbala betrayed her Akara for a promise of Welakath, a mythical elixir said to bestow great power. She led a band of foreign warriors through secret paths to the top of the Halani gates. Taken by surprise, the Akara was slain to the last woman. What was her reward? Not Welakath. The bandits put a spear through her gut in that very passage. A cautionary tale, yes. For her betrayal, the wise woman of that era enacted an ancient ritual, trapping Balbara's soul as a djinn for a sentence intended to be 1,000 years. Jingak, it has been far more than 1,000 years. By Zarka's reckoning, at least 2 or 3. The stain of Balbala's betrayal has been lifted from her legacy, yet the knowledge of her prison was lost long ago.
The traitor Balbala has been sentenced to 1,000 years of suffering as a djinn, bound in this place of her dishonor. Let no woman or man of Maraketh blood enter her prison before her time is served.
These statues are older than anything I've ever seen.
What have you learned? I was asleep during the era of Jaman-Ra. I cannot attest to the truth of Risu's tale. I cannot say it is outside the realm of possibility. The Maraketh have strict traditions, erring on the side of brutal. Go. How can I be of aid? You have no idea how much restraint it requires to listen to tales of people and places I knew, yet not correct her. She's close, I shall grant her that. Often startlingly so. In certain details or sequences of events, but the spirit of what happened thousands of years ago, the essence of that life, has been embellished. At other times, the stories convey only a pale shadow, and the true magnificence is lost. Or is it my memories that have drifted with time? I suppose we shall never know, because those days are gone, never to return. All that I once loved has been dust hundreds of years longer than you have even been alive. I am accustomed to others shivering and turning away when my gaze falls upon them. But I must confess, for once the feeling is reversed. Although she is blind, I sometimes have the strangest notion that she is looking at me, even at night. Thank you.
Who goes there? When I face his direction, there is a faint impression. Even the sun does not intrude upon my blindness, so this is a new sensation for me. What am I seeing from your strange companion?
What? Each young one is much like another. Ferrodin, Maraketh. What does it matter to an old woman? Others may scowl for letting Risu sit and listen to my stories, but none may order me silent. Do not wander.
Welcome. The Balbalak has her life, for she was truthful. If she also wishes to be accepted here, that will be up to her. You have your orders. Hold them back while I open the gate!
Open the way. Hammer and anvil!
Advance with me! There are 2 more gates we must open!
Noxious! Crush them!
Shaman-Ra? How is this possible?
The Maraketh will fall! This time, we choose war!
You receive the death
Not this!
you deserve! And I shall give you a death!
We shall finish this! But not today.
Make haste! He must not escape!
He has the beast. I must stop him.
Quickly! He conjures the very sands against us! This is no natural sandstorm. We must battle sorcery with sorcery. Let us return to the caravan and entreat Zarka's wisdom.
The Countess has used corruption to resurrect Jaman-Ra, and they have escaped with the beast. Thankfully, we have some idea what the Ferrodin intend. We must reach Deshar as soon as possible. Go.
Risu has proven herself, at least to me. She has spoken only the truth, and I believe she means well. In another life, we might have been fellow Dikara, or even friends.
Jaman-Ra can control the sands? Oh, this was not an ability he had in life. It must be born of corruption. There is something in the tales that could help us overcome such a power. It was said that the Horn of the Vastiri could control the winds. I believe the Horn's location has been lost to time, but perhaps it is possible that we can reconstruct it. We would have to retrace the steps of our greatest heroine, Orbala, on her final adventure. Speak to Asala. She knows the tale and where it might take us. Let her know how you wish to begin. Or you may seek my wisdom if you have further questions. This is not the first time the sands and cells have been used against us. The necromancer of Weeping Black, Saresh, once waged war upon the Marraketh out of the nascent desert regions of that era. He commanded not only armies of the dead, but vast roiling storms as well. Hearing of this threat, Orbala set forth on a quest to master the elements. And in 3 places of power, she proved herself to the winds. Her reward came to be known as the Horn of the Vastiri. When she drew in a mighty breath and sounded the horn, it was so powerful. Every tent across the entire plains blew open. You can imagine what it did to the necromancer's sandstorms. Seizing their moment, the united Akaras stormed forth to savage the undead armies of Saresh. For this victory, Orbala was made the Sekama of Sekamas. And after ruling with strength and cunning for many years, later became our Queen of the Wind, greatest goddess of the Marraketh. Her divine name was Garukan, which means ultimate sovereign. The tales, unfortunately, make no further mention of the horn after that. Ah, the horn. How to condense a 7-day tale. It was created during Orbala's 8th adventure, her final quest before becoming the Sekama of Sekamas. She wrested control of the 3 elements. Her trusty war steed, the great mastodon Ekbab, gave its tusks for the carving and the channeling of lightning. The essence of water was a secret held at the heart of Keth. And primordial fire must be earned from those that originally brought it to Rayclast. We will find them at the Valley of Titans. Yes, those are the 3 elements we will need. Do not wander.
Cool winds. We Faridun have never had grand caravans. In our preparations, Jaman-Ra tasked our people with building one of our own. The intent shifted as madness crept upon him. Soon it became the greatest war machine the Vastiri have ever known. The wish for a better life was gone. Only thoughts of hatred were left. Scylla.
Ah, yes. The Horn of the Vastiri. I know the tale. The ancient city of Keth, the Badlands, and the Valley of the Titans. We can retrace Orbala's steps in any order. or glory?
I know nothing of these symbols. What secrets lie within? There is nothing just about excessive punishment.
Now, Dingdak, I prove myself! Split the earth!
I'm not ready!
You are a worthy adversary.
A coin? What is this?
So, you released Balbara from her prison, and she fought well. Good. She may now earn her redemption, if the ancient places still hold power. Her barrier contains her soul. She will tell you what to do next. Goodbye.
Ah, you released Balbala, the traitor? Then it is your duty to redeem her soul by allowing her to serve as a mentor djinn during your dance with the Scorpion. In modern times, we give aspiring Dekaras a straightforward test. For this task, however, the old ways are required. You will have to face a much deadlier trial. Speak to Asala. The original trial is not far from here, and the caravan is duty-bound to carry you there.
This barren place holds an essence of water. Perhaps it is beneath the sands.
The weary traveler has reached the end of the path. Welcome to the city of 7 waters, whence bounty springs. Behold our lush plains and verdant forests, blessed to feed empires far and wide. Eat, drink, and be fat at your leisure, so long as you take word back to your homeland of the glory of Keth.
Snake woman.
Split the earth! Desert is a strange and deadly place.
I've nowhere to keep that.
What have you learned? Ah, Keth. Now nothing but dunes of sand, but once it was glorious. The waters flowed in patterns crafted by artisans of skill beyond belief. The hanging gardens could impress even the most jaded heart. Go.
How could the Marraketh abandon something like this?
Allow me to repay you for freeing me from my imprisonment. By my right as Jinn, I invite you to participate in the trial of the Sekemas. There I can earn my rest, and you may prove yourself worthy of the wisdom of the Marraketh.
Did they really need all
best to prove their faith.
Winter deepens, bringing a biting chill. I long for it to snow, for the wonder I felt as a child to grace my eyes once more. But the last winter that brought such beauty was 200 years ago now. It cannot snow in a region where it does not rain. The city is quiet. The city is cold. The wind whistles through stone columns, unheard by the living. I ask myself why I am still here. I ask myself why I will not let my tired bones rest. And I ask myself whether I truly believe Halani will awaken. I do. I do.
Left a child to die. He holds a new loyalty now.
I was mortal then. I was weak.
Then why did you never come? My king nears!
I've no more room. That wound. How is she still alive?
Immortal. Oh, at last. Please, end my suffering. My followers are long since dust, and I am but parchment. My veins dry as sand. None remember my name, and none think of me. I awoke from my long slumber, unable to move. My time has passed. I ask you, mortal, to use that one element that may finally end me. My opposite. Fire. It must be done. Some essence of water remains. The last drops to be found in Keth. He was not my son, not the one I knew. Corruption held his mortal soul in thrall, and you have finally given him peace. At last, death. Thank you.
My satchel is full. I will honor your sacrifice.
There was a goddess of water lying at the heart of Keth. I wonder what her role in the past involved. It is my sacred duty to keep our tales, but I know nothing of this goddess. How could we Maraketh have forgotten something so important?
Yes? She is the only one willing to talk with me. I could listen to her stories for days. She truly does not seem to care that I am not of the Ardura. Somehow she knows when I am near. She frowns and turns away. I fear no one here will ever accept me. But I cannot go back to my people now. Meeting the Ardura is disconcerting. Like most Faridun, I was left to die in the desert as an infant. Perhaps someone here is my mother or father. I look at each of them, wondering what my life could have been. If they had wanted me, my people are full of anger and distrust. For reasons I hope are clear. They are blinded by this.
This valley was not carved by the hands of men. Cower! What is this place? The first ones cannot help me here.
Hammer and anvil!
It's enormous. I'm not ready.
bigger they are, the harder they fall. Time to make my escape.
This ruby is beautiful and quite haunting. Perhaps it is simply my imagination, but I feel as if there is something staring back at me from deep inside.
How does anyone live in this forsaken wasteland? This land of the dead has no end.
You shall fall!
It is time to use the reforged Horn of the Vastiri to open the way through. Prepare yourself. War is nigh.
Let the pursuit continue.
I am hesitant to allow you access to Sacred Deshar, but better a single Jingak than an army of spiteful enemies. Our city of the dead must be protected, no matter the cost. You have your orders.
I will show them how a true warrior fights.
The proving grounds for the Sisterhood is complete. Though it broke many bones and some backs, the triumph is ours to behold. Zerok has been the most helpful aid. He came to us at Tel Jari, but now he is something more.
I will serve. We have met in battle, but not in peace. I am Balbala, once a traitor, long a sorrowed prisoner. As Jinn here, I shall serve as your guide. Together, we shall prove ourselves worthy. Goodbye. Selah. What happened to the plains of Vastiri? The land has changed so much since the time of my imprisonment. There were several desert regions slowly spreading, but it wasn't like this. The Halani gates where I committed my crimes were waterlocks for a river. Now there is nothing but sand and salt flats. How could they have allowed this to happen? The role of advisor is strictly bound by tradition. I may offer you aid, but only in certain specific ways. Look to me in your times of doubt. The tale women of many Akaras gathered on the day of my sentencing. Death was not punishment enough for my crime. They enacted the ritual, but my imprisonment as Jinn would not have been possible without my willful agreement. I accepted. I let it happen because I deserved it. I have no idea how long I was trapped there, but it was as close to eternity as I can possibly imagine. I hardly know the woman I was before. I remember betraying my Akara, but the reasons why now feel petty and small. If I could go back, if I could speak to the woman I was, I would tell her what a fool she was being. Would she listen? Probably not. The mistakes we make are shaped from who we are. I have had a great many years to think on my foolish choices, and now all I want is to earn my right to rest. This place was built to determine honor. to prove oneself worthy as a Sekima. Tradition allowed for one Dekkara and one advisor. If I aid you here, and if you succeed, then my crimes will finally be forgiven. Then and only then may I join those that have gone before. Goodbye.
I'm ready.
This place is ancient, yet something stirs within.
Shatter and break!
That was close.
The path to Deshar has been opened. Infiltrate the towers and stop the Farad'n from feeding the beast. Thank you.
As we approach Deshar, I feel I must ask something of you once more. There is someone I care about. Let us leave it at that. I have learned she went on a lone journey to the spires 3 moons past, and she has not returned. The others cannot know of this, for there was neither sickness nor injury involved. Do you understand? I simply wish to know the truth of what happened, to end the pain of not knowing. If you happen to find Lailuma's body in the dunes below the spires, and if you bring me something of hers, then I will know. If you do not, then no one ever will. Now the sandstorm is cleared. We have a chance to chase down Jamanra. Though I am not gifted with sight, I clearly see the dangers ahead of us. You must keep your wits about you. Those Maraketh that prove themselves in life earn burial in the sky. But the weak and unfortunate have a tradition of their own. Because they are not allowed to rest above, when they feel sickness or injury taking hold, they leap from the windswept heights of Deshar to the dunes below. Though their bodies will still be lost in the sands, our greatest fear, lying at the base of honor, is the next best thing to lying upon it. You can understand why I was concerned that Lailuma chose to travel there alone. As we approach Deshar, I feel I must ask something of you once more. The others cannot know of this, for there was neither sickness. If you happen to find...
The foe ahead is formidable. steel yourself. Beware of the burst.
Come here! Nothing.
It is done. You are no longer a Jingak. You now carry with you the spirit of a Maraketh Dekara. I am finally free, but I find I do not wish to rest just yet. This place is in disrepair, though it may take another 1,000 years. I must restore it to its former glory. Should you need me, I will continue to serve as your guide here. If you wish to challenge the trial again, find more barriers, more coins. The Jinn within will inhabit this place, much like I do. May that serve you.
This is a graveyard unlike any other.
Hammer and anvil!
You found a letter? For your sake, do not speak of its contents. I will burn it. When I have the opportunity, I intend to return to Deshar and mark the location of Lailuma's body. A stone, perhaps. Something inconspicuous. Others will not know, but I will. She will be remembered.
You are relentless, but that makes you predictable. The time of the Faradin is nigh.
And break!
The Faradin have assembled a tremendous dreadnought, a war caravan larger than we have ever seen. As we speak, it is barreling through the heart of the Vastiri, leaving devastation in its wake.
My life has been a forge. I am ready for war.
We now have their trail. They will not escape. Ready yourself. We must prevail, no matter what.
I will end this, or die fighting.
Give no quarter!
For the first ones! Shatter!
Young one. Ah, Desha, the city of the dead. In these harrowing times, one could be forgiven for thinking the risen dead live there, if that form of existence can even be called living. No. Long before we had to worry about the dead rising, we built towering spires to return our people to the sky. Our honored dead lie openly, enjoying the sun, not hidden from it under the earth. Over time, they are scoured away, becoming the wind and sand you feel on your skin at this very moment. Desha is our most sacred monument. I myself will soon make the journey there, once I train a replacement. Most do wait for their bodies to fail, but I would prefer to meet death on my feet. Who knows, I may even be the first mortal to win my battle and defeat Nakrata in spiritual combat. It might not look like it now, but I was a rather powerful sorceress in my time.
You again. The fool under the hooded one's sway. Do you even know what he is? No matter. You'll find my king far more capable than Count Gianor. My king, take the power you were promised. Put an end to this nuisance.
The Sekma of the Ardura. Bow before your king.
The Medicats not bow to
Not
me.
this!
We skin them. Submit! You are finished!
Justice! The era of the Faradun is now! We are endless!
We're running out of time. End this. What are you doing?
Go! I don't have time for this! Sands!
Enough!
To my will! Impede my enemies! cannot give up!
Need mana!
The era of the Faradun is now! 10,000 spears!
No mana!
Take our hate! I will erase you!
Have a hand anvil!
Need mana. Up! We will blot out the sun! The Paladin is now! Take our hate! Grind you into dust! I cannot give up!
Out of mana!
Endless hate! The era of the Faradun is now! Take our hate! Wings! To me! Die! Ulasakama!
Asala!
You have accomplished nothing. Oriana will prevail, and the Faradin will rule the Vaspiri!
This is not over. Not yet.
Jamandra! I return you to the embrace of death!
It is done.
Fortune favors me.
The war is over. I have given him an honorable death. This may prove to heal the wound between the Faradun and the Marraketh. Return with me. I must address my people.
My worst fears have been realized. The beast is beyond our means now.
It is time for honesty.
You're right. I have not been entirely forthcoming. It is time I told you who I truly am. I am a god. I am the thief of virtue. I am sin. And I have failed once again. It was I who created the beast. The seed of corruption that now threatens to grow anew, and it is my responsibility. As it is my creation that once again threatens all Vreklast, it is by my hand that it must be contained. All I can ask is that, knowing who I am, you still see the importance of our task. The beast has grown beyond our ability to contain it. We must search for something greater than we currently possess, something that can drain its power and bring it back to a more manageable form. While I slumbered under the numbing effects of corruption, there was an empire that mastered the use of that deadly energy. We must go to the jungles of the long-ago Val. Their ruins may yet hold the secrets we need. That is where we must go, to the sunken city of Utsa. It is our only hope.
I don't know much of your history, but all I see is a good man.
How can I be of aid? You want the truth? I betrayed her and had her killed. There are not enough excuses in all of Rayclast to make up for what I did. I thought it was the right thing to do at the time. I thought it was the only way to save humanity. And yet, here we are again, chasing the beast and fighting for the fate of the world. I am beginning to suspect that the cycle of history may never end, unless we surpass ourselves and find another way. But until we do, we will solve this the only way we know how, with violence. Garrikon was the true jewel of the Vastiri, at least to me. Divine love is much like mortal love, at least from what I can remember. And we were happy for a time longer than the lives of many mortal men. The time came, however, when love was not enough. Her humanity sifted through the cracks of her life like fine sand, leaving a divine shell that held her image, but nothing of her soul. It is a trap, you see. Divinity. Faith empowers, but faith also shapes. To gather more power, a god must play the part, becoming more and more the icon their followers perceive. When does perception become reality? It's impossible to pinpoint, and that's the most sinister thing about it. You never know the moment you cross the line. I am thousands of years old. I was mortal first, but then I was deified against my will by my brother. But that is a story for another time. I spent my early divine life in Keth. I loved and was loved. I even had a daughter. This shrine depicts them both. They were revered by the Marraketh.
Who goes there? The Risen King is dead once again. His tale is yet another tragic outcome of the harsh desert. At least this time the death was honorable. Asala did this intentionally, and I admire her for it. The Farad'n have already begun the process of taking his body to Deshar for a proper sky burial. Asala allowed this. It feels like we could be stepping into the light of a new era for the Marraketh. Warm nights.
Quickly. The Marraketh abandoned us, but there is beauty in their strict traditions. They do not have a choice. The desert is a harsh Sekema, as they say. Uniting as one people, combining our resources, that is the only way we can all live in peace. Warm nights.
What is it? Jaman Ra is back where he belongs. I have given him a proper death. By removing his head, I acknowledged him, though he was never a king, despite what the Farad'n may choose to believe. Those who have survived this war will be given a choice. It would be a waste to kill the Farad'n who have proven themselves in battle. They may choose to be acknowledged, to have a place at the table, or they can remain outcasts. Either way, it is time to write a new chapter. Who knows what the future holds? After what has happened here, the other Akaras must consider joining the Ardura. I intend to be persuasive. Yes, we can take you to the edge of the desert. Then we will continue to track the beast. You must find a way to contain it. When we find out where it is being taken, we will seek you out. Until then, may the winds ever be calm on your paths.
The beast has grown too powerful. We can no longer contain it through mortal means. There was once an empire that embraced corruption, They studied it, mastered it, and became the greatest civilization the world has ever known. But it led to their destruction. Our allies will continue the pursuit of the beast, but we shall undertake a different search. We must go to the ruins of the Vaal Empire, in search of a weapon against the coming cataclysm. Exile is close. Be careful. The Vaal heavily relied on the use of corruption. Their lands may still be dangerous.
I will tell your tale, Jingak. Return someday, and you might hear Risu tell it in my place. I will
How
tell
can I
your
advise
tale.
Thank you.
We strayed from the route marked on our map, driven further afield by painted men with savage intent. Tonight, for reasons I cannot fathom, we have been granted a brief reprieve. Our hunters halted at the edge of this marsh, unwilling to pursue. They watched from the trees as we threaded the narrow band of solid ground between desert and swamp. I know not what they fear, but we must brave the unknown if we are to reach the encampment at the ziggurat. Through my spyglass, I see nothing ahead. The waters lie still, and the muddy banks between seem clear. Yet my nerves burn with the unmistakable sense of being watched. There is no one, no thing, but this silence feels alive. We have no choice but to run for it.
Come here! Yeah! What kind of stunt was that, traversing the marsh? Have to be smarter if you're to survive. As quartermaster, I'll do my best to keep you alive. I can buy what equipment you find, or sell you what others have unearthed before we ship it back to Kingsmarch. If you disappear in the jungle, I'll also be the one to note your death in our logs. You're welcome.
There's the cynic this group needs for survival.
Hello there. I'm Alva Valai. Sorry about Oswald. He can be a bit, rough with the newcomers. But he's really not a bad sort. In any case, we can always use another pair of hands around here. Welcome. Something tells me you're the exploring type. We've got that in common. But some places even I steer clear of. I rather enjoy being alive, you see. Still, if you're feeling adventurous, there's fortunes to be made out there in the wilds. I'm especially interested in all things related to the Vaal. For academic reasons, of course. But a bit of treasure never goes amiss. That hooded fellow over there, he's a friend of yours, I take it? Seems to be one of few words. Oh well, I'm not one to judge the company you choose to keep. Oswald's gonna lose his wits if any more of you show up, though. Oswald's a grim sort, isn't he? He's always injury this, death that. Personally, I've never been hurt while treasure hunting. I actually find it rather easy. He always makes sure we have the proper supplies,
and checks his list for everything 4 or 5 times before we make a move. He also invented what I call the Oswald technique. On the rare occasions he personally goes out with us, he throws a rock at absolutely everything before touching it. Every flagstone, every pillar, every statue. You'd be positively amazed at the elaborate traps he sets off, even in places I've walked through already. I've heard of the beast. Everyone has. If someone is truly trying to raise another, then they must be the grandest of fools. These very ruins around us are the result of an attempt to control such a thing. This is the only way it can end. So you're looking for a device the Vaal intended to use against the Cataclysm. Ah, so that's why you came here. Well, you're on the right trail. The ziggurat on which we stand was rumored to contain a device to save their people. If you want to explore it, you'll have to find a way to drain the city first. It's hard to guess what the device inside the temple might be. I do know that it was commissioned by Queen Etziri's thaumaturge, Doriani himself. The project was given all the resources it needed, and the work was kept secret, even from Etziri. As best I could translate, they claimed using it might mean abandoning all they had built. They seemed to view it as a last resort, a way to save their legacy if all else failed. It's not often I detect fear in Vaal writings, but they definitely hoped they would never have to use it. How do I even begin to describe the last queen of the Vaal? She left a tremendous mark on history. She was intelligent, incapable enough to rule unquestioned over a bloodthirsty empire of volatile nobles, and the people adored her and feared her in equal measure. Vaal writings speak of her as the most beautiful woman in the era, but also the most dangerous. She sought eternal life, and she was willing to sacrifice anything to achieve it. The ruins around you are the result of those ambitions. Sometimes, while I'm looting a temple, I remember that everything we find once belonged to a living, breathing person that probably died horribly. That sort of takes the fun out of it, doesn't it? By their final days, the Vaal were a deeply tiered empire based on brutal competition. Those at the top vied with each other through any means necessary, and Doriani was the foremost among these ambitious and immoral men. He was second only to Queen Etziri herself. Exile was the seat of his power, and ancient writings claim he undertook a vast array of strange projects and sordid experiments here. Some glyphs I have seen are too stomach-churning to discuss. This little excursion here represents my lifelong ambition. It's not just about finding treasure. I want to build an entire archaeological society someday. Rayclast has countless layers of history buried beneath it, and I aim to uncover every last bit. I intend to call my group the Reliquarians. A bit ostentatious, but the best things should be. A shame I couldn't have founded it a few decades ago, back when my birthplace Oriath was still a thriving city. Thanks to the Templars, relics from a dozen different cultures found their way to that little island over the centuries, and are now all lost, thanks to the disasters that happened there.
Somewhere in this region there were sophisticated canals and waterways. We might be able to use them to drain this lake. We must hope that the mechanisms are still functioning, despite their age. It is the only way to reverse the drowning of this once thriving city. The first step in our search for the secret knowledge of the Vaal. It is strange to return to this place of my divine youth and see it so aged and forgotten. When I was here, the Vaal were the height of civilization, and the future was bright. They had their problems like any other people. but I thought I could free them from the moral hazards of divinity by removing gods from the equation. While we are here, I would like to discover whether this ruination is my fault, or whether something else happened to them.
You're the one who waded to the undead in the marsh, eh? Truly, you need a guide. Luck's on your side today, friend. I am such a guide. Maybe I can help you survive. Not all tribes in this region are so friendly. You would be wise to listen to me on the dangers of the jungle. Yes, you are lucky indeed. Apus is my grandson. Can you believe that? A young spry thing like me. A grandmother. Don't be answering that. Apus inherited my son's rowdy spirit. Maybe it's a family curse. We have always been the type to do what we shouldn't, like helping outsiders such as yourself. One day, he'll be a great man, just like his father. Until then, I try to keep him safe.
Ah, a local temple runner. Ah, King's March. So called by the Kalgurans. They're newcomers to Rayclast. About 20 years now. They're traders by nature. In fact, they've partially funded this very expedition. For some reason, they're very interested in Vaal artifacts. We ship most of what we find back to King's March, and they pay handsomely for it. I log everything here, so I can catalogue the thousands of ways to die the jungle offers. If you can, be sure to write some sort of final entry detailing how you die. The death log won't benefit you, of course, but it will certainly benefit me. I don't mean to be overly fatalistic, but the amateurs coming from King's March are accomplishing nothing but feeding the chimerals. The most I can do, as quartermaster, is ensure they're equipped for exploration. That's where the real profit in treasure hunting is, you see. I don't go out there if I can help it. I'm the unluckiest man alive. Yet, I'm the wealthiest in this camp. You have to be good when you're trading with the Kalgurans, or they'll fleece you. The ziggurat beneath us was once the temple of the sun god, one of the oldest built in the city of Utzal's religious district. It was in active use for at least 1,000 years, but when the Vaal cataclysm struck, the city flooded, presumably killing everyone inside. Good thing for us, because this lake is the only reason it hasn't been ransacked by other treasure hunters already. One man's mass death is another man's treasure, I suppose. Don't get eaten. Denise Shernock. They survived 309 excessive night terrors.
The trees are alive with danger. I should take care.
Come here!
I should step carefully here.
Enough!
We've been clashing with the Auroch tribe for generations, but their real fight is with the Azak. and them a losing. The orc worship the three-headed snake. Them poison the jungle, poison themselves, poison us too. Their shaman? Only seen her twice. She moved like a panther in the dark. A coward. Evil in the shadows, my friend. Evil in the shadows. If you find the source of their wickedness, you let me know. I must see it for myself to make an antidote. Drink this. A foul brew, but you'll thank me if you survive. This is my son. When he did not return from the jungle, I feared the worst. But I still had hope. The warring tribes have taken that hope away from me. Curse the Azak, curse the Orok, and curse this day. Promise me, you will not tell Apus his father is dead. Let him remain a child for one more day. Still alive. It hurt me deeply to find him there. To find him like that. Still, I thank you for finding his body. His spirit roams the jungle with his fathers now. The warring tribes, the Azak, the Orok, they have a lot to answer for.
Yeah? Apes are one thing, but quadrillas? No, they're fearsome. The Varl left these lands drowning in corruption after their cataclysm. Guess it twisted the creatures here into something unnatural. Still, I can't help but think 4 arms could come in handy, wouldn't you say? No pun intended. Survivors, half-wits, and the occasional lunatic? That's our expedition in a nutshell. Used to be, we were seasoned veterans out here. These days, if a newcomer lasts more than a week, it's a cause for celebration. Still, with the Kalgurans throwing coin around, plenty of folks are willing to risk their lives for a shot of the spoils. They make an odd pair of colleagues, don't they? Oswald's the kind to worry about the jungle eating him, and Alva's the type to dare it to try. Perhaps that's why their partnership has been more lucrative than most. They balance each other out. I could have gone my whole life without watching snakes coil around a corpse or getting pounded into the dirt by a homicidal ape. It's enough to make a girl question her career choices. Still, treasure keeps me coming back. You can't take 2 steps around here without tripping over some old Varl ruin all tangled up in the undergrowth.
Magnificent creature! Go with the first ones.
The Orok are truly terrifying to behold. I suspect their canine features result from genetic mutations, perhaps born of the cataclysms that reshaped these lands. Their tribesmen are savage, I rarely leave their territories without scars to show for it. Yet, they hold a knowledge we Oriathans have long since abandoned. Our high-born civilization prides itself on its advancements, but remains woefully primitive in matters of the spirit and the natural world. For all their brutality, the Orok live in harmony with the forces of nature. And perhaps they have no choice, but I wonder if we are the fools for believing we've transcended it. Better to live with nature than to die defying it.
Somehow, this feels hotter than the desert.
How can I... You have found the waterways? Search it for a control mechanism. Val technology, at least in that era, was based on engraved stonework and latent systems of channeled energy. It should be operational, even after all this time. Drain the city, and let us see what ancient secrets Exile has kept protected for us. Whatever it takes.
You're keeping well, I hope. This jungle isn't just alive. It's teeming with things that want you dead. Boars, bugs, ants, and lions. And that's just the wildlife. Fight through all that, and you've still got the undead to contend with. Now do you see why so many have drawn their last breath here? We were warned about the threat of the local tribes, but witnessing their brutality firsthand is something else. No field report can prepare you for the sight of a man being flayed alive, or the sound of sinew torn from bone. The Azak are a vicious, unrelenting horde, and they train their beasts to be the same. The Orok, by contrast, not as sadistic nor as smart, but just as lethal. The Val have captured the imaginations of archaeologists and adventurers for centuries, leaving little of their legacy untouched. It's no wonder the Kalgorans are paying so richly for what remains. As for their motives, that's a mystery I've yet to unravel. Oswald's a seasoned leader, and I've seen him guide many an expedition. Yet this one has claimed more lives than any other. He puts on a brave face, but I suspect he feels the weight of every loss. He arms explorers with all the wisdom he can, but survival ultimately depends on their willingness to listen.
The Val use this device to operate the mechanisms in the canal, but we would need a special artifact to power it. From the translations I've made, I believe they were called soul cores. I've never seen an intact soul core large enough for something like this, though. I suppose if you want to try find one, you could ask our guide, Servi. These waterways are a series of canals the Val built on the upper edge of the city. The Great Matlan River didn't run quite this far south, but they diverted a portion of it for a complex irrigation system. That really allowed the city to thrive and the Val to flourish. Though, I don't fully understand why they created a system that could flood the entire city. From my understanding, it was a failsafe. A way to make sure their creations didn't get the better of them, or the world. The Val really were a very intelligent and pragmatic people, you know. At the southeast edge of the city, there is a large dam. I've spent months trying to find a way to release the outer spillways, but to no avail. Those very walls are what keep the city flooded to this day. Death gems, blood crystals, or, more colloquially, soul cores. They were made by sacrificing living people and capturing their energies inside a crystal lattice. Some think the victims are still trapped inside, existing in eternal agony until someone drains the core's energy completely. There's no way to know that for certain, of course. But it is rather chilling to think about. Bye.
Ah, so you're after blood crystals. The thing Alva call soul core. I knew you were going to be trouble. Out there in the dark, there's an ancient ruin. Very old indeed. My tribe has spoken of it for generations. We see strange creatures there, made of stone, unnatural, with unblinking eyes. That place, it is forsaken. I would warn you not to go there. But if it's so cause you seek, then take the risk you must.
Bright colors usually signal danger.
Feel my wrath!
These statues make me wary.
This is a find. A Baal ruin that hasn't been looted? No one from camp has managed to make it to this part of the jungle and survive. And this mechanism, if powered with a small soul core, it could open that door. There should definitely be soul cores somewhere around here. They had to power these constructs somehow. Yes? Near the end of civilization, the Vaal tried to combat a worsening labor shortage by sacrificing their own citizens to power constructs. Designed to till the fields, mine the quarries, and the like. They were quite a marvel. As it turns out, human souls don't make for a very sustainable fuel source. And so began their downward spiral. Rather silly for such an intellectual people, wouldn't you say? Look for a red crystal a bit bigger than your fist. It should be warm to the touch. Why, you ask? That'd be the soul trapped inside. Be careful. Survive. Until now.
Cower!
Oh, goodness!
It's alive!
No stone coming.
"74 shipments of soul cores in the span of 3 moons. 74 shipments. And it still won't be enough. If our fears become realized, we have put our lives on the line because Doriani asked us to do so. I accept this, and I am not a traitor to the Queen, but sometimes loyalty requires protecting her from her own mistakes. We need more time. We just need more time.
This seems like something Elva would know about.
This is the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, there is still latent energy residing here. From what I can gather, these lines in the stonework should lead to generators. You might need to find some more soul cores to spin them up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe the constructs have been maintaining all this. In any case, let's hope it still functions. We'll then have to remove that large soul core from the wall, of course. But that shouldn't be a problem. Good luck.
Is it supposed to spark like that?
Seen. With this, we could power the mechanism in the waterways. But it isn't charged.
I do know a way out. If we fail and the Empire falls, I have one last resort. I fear it, but it is my last hope. We imprisoned Iklotil the Blackjaw in his soul core, alone for his crimes. Isolated like that, without any other souls in the lattice, his stone form seemed to retain much of his personality. Do I dare drain my own lifeblood into something we used as a punishment worse than death? We have toiled so long to defeat death. All I know now is fear. If the sky turns to blood, if flames consume Utsal, only then will I decide.
Back to the central chamber.
Remove it from that giant construct. Good luck!
out their secrets.
Wow! You did it! Now you can use that soul core to power the mechanisms in the waterways. Good job with that construct, by the way. Death gems, blood crystals, or, more colloquially, soul cores. They were made by sacrificing living people and capturing their energies inside a crystal lattice. Some think the victims are still trapped inside, existing in eternal agony until someone drains the core's energy completely. There's no way to know that for certain, of course. But it is rather chilling to think about. Servi has been a fantastic ally to us here. Her people have lived in the vicinity of Exile for countless generations, so she's been able to show us all the most interesting Val ruins. The accessible ruins were all looted long ago, of course, but the lake around us has protected most of this city since the end of the Val Empire.
Finally.
Enough! Creation, relinquish your waters.
How can... Greetings. The members of this expedition seem to believe that the ziggurat beneath our feet holds an ancient device that was intended to be used against the cataclysm that destroyed the Val. The source of that cataclysm was the previous beast, which means the device below may be exactly what we need to stop the new one. Find your way into the ziggurat, and let us see what the greatest minds of the Val Empire created. If they didn't manage to complete it in time, maybe we can finish their work.
Go. Now the true search can begin.
Beyond this sealed door is the temple of the sun god, Kopek. I've seen writings by a fellow named Ketzuli that mention his research in this temple, but I can't quite make sense of what the device was or how it functioned. Unfortunately, we can't use Kalguran explosives without risking whatever's inside. However, there's a piece missing from the door. Knowing the Val, it'll be made of gold, of course. I recommend heading into the city to search for it. Try looking around the Agarat area, as that is well known for its opulence in the golden tributes, especially at the main temple's apex. Hurry back if you find it.
Creatures crawl behind every stone.
Steel yourself!
Be warned, friend. The waterways on the Matlan River be a barrier between us and the Azak tribe. The Orok may be troubled, but the Azak, them are true horror. Their queen witch, Ignakdok, takes her child every blood moon. Why? I won't guess. If you trespass, only death awaits you. But if you survive, while you are there, please, rip out her heart. You should have never drained the lake. My tribe depends on the waters for our safety. How will we fend off the Orok or the Azak now? And worse, you have unleashed the horrors of the Val once more. Know this. You bring up bad omens from the depths that should have stayed buried, and you will regret it.
So, the city of Exile has been laid bare to the world after all these centuries. I know you're after some particular device, but I can't help but remind you that we are here for a purpose of our own. Treasure hunters hunt treasure, yeah? I'll not be the first to set foot in those deadly sunken ruins. But if you're brave enough, you might as well keep an eye out for anything that looks valuable. In particular, look for buildings with monkey statues on them. If you spy something like that, give me a shout. I'll be waiting with great anticipation. I'm no storyteller, but I know what's what. The monkey represented Kamasa, the Val god of wealth. If you see a statue of a monkey, it means treasure. It may be a vault, maybe a temple, could be a vast forge. Any of the above would mean fabulous riches. Have you found? That's it. Kamasa, the monkey god. Even I'm tempted to... No, I'll just die horribly.
I suppose I could look for treasure while I'm here.
I've never been quite sure if Kamasa was actually a monkey, or if he was just god of monkeys. In either case, he held their love for shiny things. The wealth wasn't the point, but his cult still slowly grew to become the richest in the Val Empire. Eventually, they became the very guardians of the treasury itself. The famed Perandus family would have been paupers in comparison. I can almost feel my greed overcoming my caution. Almost. Little is known about the monkey god. He was initially portrayed as curious, wise, and prone to mischief. In the earliest tales, if he appeared, it was to do one of two things. Impart mysterious wisdom, or steal something shiny from a wealthy noble. Unfortunately, his greed apparently grew as the Val expanded. Later tales portrayed him extorting peasants and blackmailing nobles for increasingly large tithes. His cult's core values became exploitation and ambition. His high priests eventually ran everything remotely financial in the Empire. I can only imagine what treasures are hidden in their ancient coffers. Destruction!
Let's see what happens. It's safe to say he's seen me.
Mad creature! Shadow!
I must fan the flames. Forge! Kamasa's will.
Move! Yeah!
I've nowhere to keep that.
Came back alive, did ya? I'll organize the men. We'll start carting the gold out of here. No sign of old Kamasa, eh? Well, then he won't miss it. Keep anything you're able to lift out of there yourself. Let's call it a finder's fee, eh? I'm feeling generous today, considering we actually found treasure and all came out alive.
I'll put this hammer. Every step is more disgusting than the last.
When we first came to this place, death alone was the king of all that we surveyed. Solemn in his high and lonely throne. We had little and were starving, but this man-made mountain offered us nourishment. Eating the caps and stems brought us grand visions of a thriving world. It was a promise of things to be. This, then, will be our new home until our promised land is made real.
Destruction!
When we first came to this place, death alone was the king of all that we surveyed. Solemn in his high and lonely throne. We had little and were starving, but this man-made mountain offered us nourishment. Eating the caps and stems brought us grand visions of a thriving world. It was a promise of things to be. This, then, will be our new home until our promised land is made real. The promised land is bountiful, a blissful place overflowing with potential. My brethren surround me. We are one, experiencing the entirety of time all at once. Even as I write this, I am on the cusp of transcendence. The script before my eyes morphs into illegible symbols. I cannot stop laughing, rejoicing at the bright future that I know us to all share.
Come to bed with me? Now, faith on you I shall.
I'd sooner take your head.
Time to peace. Tenderize. To fit.
That was one fight.
This looks like exactly what I need.
She sounded, well, filthy. I don't know how those treasure hunters made it in there, but I sure feel for them. We all know risk is part of the job, but what a way to go. Boggles the mind, really.
You found it! Try placing the idol in the door. Maybe we'll get lucky. Good luck.
Don't ask where I found it. How is there light within this ancient ruin?
Crush them! Ancient fire!
Great Coolpig, a brave warrior approaches. Let the sun curl your flesh!
Not a chance!
I call, and the sun obeys. Euphoria!
I do not fear the fire. It is mine to shape.
Val ingenuity never ceases to amaze me. Hey! That sun is an incredible achievement, no doubt. But it doesn't fit with what the Val wrote about this place. Perhaps it powers the device we seek. The Val in this pyramid must have been trapped here since the Cataclysm. Was it corruption that kept them alive? Or the energy from their sun? I can't imagine a worse fate. These runes, I can make out symbols for blood and offering. Wait, no. It's not a blood offering, it's someone of Val blood. Perhaps if I... It worked! No, this is truly something! encampment? I can't believe it. We were right on top of this device the entire time. Gateway. Oh, how incredible! Hey.
Greetings. This portal provides an opportunity that I had never considered. To consult the greatest minds of the Varl directly. Enter the portal. Find their experts on the beast or on corruption. They may know of ways to control corruption that even I am not aware of. You might not know this, but the common tongue we are speaking is derived from ancient Varl. They were the largest empire on Lakelast for thousands of years. They should be able to understand you. Move swiftly.
How goes it? Oh, time travel gives me a headache. I'm trying to understand. Val priests built a gateway to their future to escape a coming catastrophe. That I can see. They needed someone with Val blood to activate the gateway on the other end. The other end being now. Our time. Why didn't they just activate it themselves back then? So that it would still be active now? And isn't needing someone with Val blood on this end a critical flaw, given that they were trying to escape a disaster they feared might wipe out their people? Does time pass equally on both ends? Is a day here, a day there? What happens when their side has been open long enough for it to be now there, but the far future here? I'm probably overthinking this. Watch your step.
No, not what you do. A great darkness comes. You meddle with what has been, and who knows what will happen because of it. What is dead should stay dead. Close the gateway and leave it alone, I say.
Are these living Varl? In the flesh? Hello! My name is Alva Valai. It was I who... No, don't run away! Oh, I think we pose a threat. Let's go after them. Just look at that view. Oh, to see this city in its prime. This is a dream come true. There they are. Hey!
Break!
Oh, I was hoping to avoid conflict.
Ends here!
Oh, don't worry. I can solve this. This is all just a misunderstanding.
Which one of you activated the gate? Which one of you is a Val blood?
Why, that was me, of course. I am Alva Valai, treasure hunter extraordinary.
Take her! Bring her to Doriani. As for you, I will pay back every drop of Val blood you have spilled.
As expected.
I will not relent! Pain sharpens the mind.
Crush them!
You will fall before us! Storm of Shopek! You are nothing but a locust!
That was no death! What was that?
These people are already doomed. I will kill whoever I must.
Crush them!
So, this is Dariani. How arrogant. Ugh, a place of savagery. Huh. There is power in brutality.
So, at the eve of the end, the demon of Vatsuatl has finally come for me.
I'm not here for you, fool! Destruction!
The power of the Vile! Ignition! A minor setback. I bear the burden for our future. I've had enough of this. I can't give up. I must save my people.
You know why we're here! It happened! It cannot be stopped!
No, I will succeed.
Yes!
I cannot let my efforts be in vain. The destruction at Atsuatl will be repaid 1,000-fold. Burn to ash, demon of Atsuatl. Let's see you survive this. I cannot let my efforts be in vain. Reverse the polarity. I will burn you alive. Let me show you what true intellect looks like. You think you can run? Nothing will stand in my way! Do you truly I've been preparing for you for years. No! Do not fail me. Not now! How could this happen? All I've done. All that I sacrificed.
Your people cannot be saved. History is already written. You can stay here and die, or come with us and help save the future.
The legacy of the Val must be protected. I do know of a way of cooking the beast.
Best you start
I've no
talking
more
then.
room.
My friend here isn't exactly the peacemaking type.
If only I had more time. There is an ancient weapon. A weapon that was used against corruption from a civilization lost to the ages. I have one piece of it. 3 others were scattered. I have been searching for them, but the Karui have interfered at every turn.
So will you help us?
I suppose I must. It is too late for us here. This era is over. I pleaded with Aziri for her patience, but she would not abide me. She will attempt her communion with the beast, and utter devastation will ravage our people. But the fact that you are here, a living descendant of our people, it gives me some hope for our future. I will come to your era. Perhaps there is still time.
It's settled then. Let's hurry back to the time portal.